When we're talking about video games, all too often we focus on the big things. How big is the world? How many thousand polygons make up the main character's nose? Is Keanu Reeves in it? A lot of games fall down on that one. Sometimes though, it's nice to take a step back and appreciate the little things. These are the tiny details that are never going to make it onto the back of the box, but that, when added together, take a game from good to great and cement their place in our hearts. Here are 7 of our favourites. The appeal of the Animal Crossing series is hard to explain to someone who has never played it, because from the outside, it looks like you spend a lot of time doing virtually nothing apart from collecting fruit and having conversations with gossipy mammals. This is as true as it ever was in the newest game in the series, Animal Crossing New Horizons, in which you move to an island and are tasked with turning it from an unspoiled paradise into whatever you want. For example, outdoor arcade. Take that, nature. Each day in your island's shop you get new items you can buy with which to decorate your island and your home, and each week, singing dog KK Slider drops by to perform a concert to your islanders. KK is a huge star in the world of Animal Crossing, despite sounding like someone kicked a Nokia 3310 down a flight of stairs, and you can buy his records to play in your own home. In addition to this, some of the new items you can buy in your store each day are musical instruments, including guitars, marimbas, and pianos. Most things in Animal Crossing don't do much at all when you interact with them, but if you have a music player and a musical instrument in close proximity to one another, you can set a song going and then play along to it on a musical instrument. Each press of the A button will produce a different note, and it's all based around an appropriate scale, meaning you can essentially just improvise around your favourite KK songs. It's one minute little detail, but I've spent literally hours sitting in my Animal Crossing house, jamming along to KK Slider songs and imagining I'm in Twin Peaks. Okay, I take it back. This is what's going to be hard to explain to anyone who hasn't played Animal Crossing. If you believed the pre-release hype from Rockstar, Red Dead Redemption 2 was going to be nothing but cool details, from the intricate detailing on the guns, to the real-time beard and hair growth, to the whole horse testicle thing. I'll tell you later. There are some details though that we love more than others, the first being the conversation system with random NPCs. You're given 2 options, greet and antagonize, which play out exactly as you'd expect.
Hey there, partner. Howdy. Got any idea what time it is?
Don't know.
Yeah, no problem. Take care now.
Bye.
The way the lines are written though, you can switch from one approach to the other mid-interaction and the conversation will still make sense. So a conversation that goes like this when you're being nice:
I can see you're a fellow who ain't to be messed with.
They raised the prices at the saloon.
So, won't start.
So long.
becomes this if you change lanes to being a jerk halfway through.
I can see you're a fellow who ain't to be messed with. I'm joking, of course. You look soft as wool.
Hey, insulting me ain't gonna help you get better.
Hey, shut it. Come on.
Our absolute favourite tiny detail in Red Dead Redemption 2, however, is one that it's easy to miss because the game never tells you you can do it. Usually, if you want to holster your gun, you press left bumper. Double tap left bumper, however, and you will spin your gun, putting it away with a flourish worthy of a Robocop.
Oh, okay. Get clipped anyway.
Totally unnecessary, totally extra, but there's just something about doing this, especially after a duel, that makes it one of our most favourite things in this entire vast game. Yes, even better than the horse testicles. Alright, fine, I like them both equally. So, some may dismiss Luigi's Mansion as Mario for goths, which is ludicrous because 1, that sounds amazing, and 2, they're just as funny, charming and enjoyable as the Mario games, plus they have what is hands down the most satisfying loot system in video games, in that it's just you vacuuming up giant stacks of cash, gold and gems. There's that dopamine. Thanks, brain. The plot of most Luigi's Mansion games involves Mario being kidnapped by ghosts because Nintendo thinks that Luigi couldn't possibly have adventures on his own unless absolutely forced to. Okay, maybe they have a point. Still though, for the majority of these games, Mario was missing, which leads me to my favourite little detail of the Luigi's Mansion games. That is, having a button dedicated to making Luigi say Mario.
Mario?
Having a dedicated Mario button lets you roleplay Luigi looking for his brother with way more authenticity than you'd be able to do otherwise, and there are even a bunch of different Mario calls depending on Luigi's current state. Some of them are confident,
Mario?
others more uncertain,
Mario?
and in some he sounds downright terrified.
Oh, Mario.
For me, that button is what made Luigi feel like more than just a cartoon character in a spooky story, and cemented his position as my favourite over his brother. What was his name?
Oh, Mario.
Ah yes, thank you.
Say, Ignis, how come you like cooking so much?
I find the true joy of cooking on the faces of those for whom I cook.
Huh.
I'll never forget the smile on your face the first time I cooked for you.
I barely remember what I ate yesterday. Well, whatever that first meal was, I'm sure it was pretty good.
Final Fantasy XV is a huge, sprawling RPG packed with story, memorable characters, and epic boss fights, but pretty much the only thing I can remember about it is the food. In the game, you play as Prince Noctis, who is accompanied on his adventures by his backup dancers, Gladiolus, who is the muscle, Prompto, who documents their adventures for the gram, and Ignis, the party chef.
I've come up with a new recipe.
Can't wait to try it.
As you play through the game, Ignis learns new recipes from restaurants, magazines, and other characters, and when you rest at a campsite, he can whip up various meals with these recipes, based on the ingredients you have in your inventory, all of which give your team various buffs for the next day's adventuring. Which is all pretty straightforward. What is more extra than shrimps on an omelette, however, is the fact that the game shows you these dishes being presented to you, and every single one of them is glorious, mouth-watering food porn. There's paellas bursting with fresh seafood, delicate crepes, beautiful soups, and stuff I've never even heard of before, but that looks goddamn delicious. And it's not just complicated fancy dishes that look amazing. They've managed to make toast look like a gourmet delicacy worthy of a Michelin star. Toast! Even things that sound awful to your rational brain, like moist tomato cake, look like the tastiest thing you'll ever eat. Like, forget seeing the ending of Final Fantasy XV, I'm more interested in seeing Ignis's take on a lasagna. Yes, good. Now, what was I doing? Oh right, saving the kingdom or whatever. Detailed isn't exactly the first word that springs to your mind when you think of the original Tomb Raider games, considering how the backgrounds looked like they were spat out of a malfunctioning fax machine, and Lara's corners could put someone's eye out. That being said, one of the reasons the Tomb Raider games stood out in the first place was the little fun, unnecessary extras that it put in, such as the freedom to explore Lara's home, Croft Manor.
Welcome to my home. I'll take you on a guided tour.
Best of all, though, was the fact that you could hold a button while doing certain moves to turn them into much more graceful versions of themselves. I don't know if this was explicitly explained in the instructions, but I remember it feeling like a kind of hidden secret that you could turn Lara's usual leap into a graceful swan dive, and her awkward clambering into an unbelievably showboaty handstand to a backbend. Once you know how to do this, why would you climb up or jump off things any other way? Unless you're not jumping into water, that is. Might want to stick to legs first for that. Loads of video games have animals in them, sometimes as background decoration, other times as fighter pilots in space.
We did it, Fox!
Dinosaur Planet is saved!
Andros is defeated once again!
If it's a game where you're playing as a human, however, and it features animals like cats and dogs who aren't anthropomorphic superheroes, then you better believe the first thing we're doing is going up to those animals and seeing if the game will let us pet them.
What's up, dog?
If it does, it may only be a tiny detail, but guaranteed I will be 100% better disposed towards the game from that point on, because it shows me the developers have thought about the world they've created and tried to make it as interactive and full as possible. Full of cats. I'm going to specifically shout out the Assassin's Creed series here because according to Twitter account @CanYouPetTheDog, there are no fewer than 6 Assassin's Creed games in which you can pet animals, making it the series with the most instances of animal scritches in all of video games. Not in Assassin's Creed Unity though, which incidentally is the entry in the series with the lowest Metacritic rating. Coincidence? I think not. Come on, pet the dog, Arno. Pet it! Ugh, worst assassin ever.
They only pummeled me with sticks a few times before I had to run back home.
I like these people already.
Fallout 4 presents a retro-futuristic view of the year 2077 in which everyone drives nuclear-powered Cadillacs and has chatty flying robot butlers.
Hey, Codsworth.
Now, don't you touch the laundry. I'll take care of it.
Almost immediately after this intro, however, the bombs drop and pretty much everything gets annihilated.
Enjoy your return to the surface, and thank you for choosing Vault-Tec.
Not Codsworth though, who it seems is more resilient than a lead-lined cockroach.
Codsworth?
I live and breathe.
You talk to Codsworth quite a bit at the start of the game, but the detail here that blew my mind is that when you're talking to him, he'll reply to you using your actual name.
Mr. Andy.
Apparently, Codsworth has a database of over 1,000 names, and when you enter your name at the start of the game, if it's on there, he'll refer to you by that when he's talking to you.
Mr. Ziggy.
It's not a perfect system, of course. While there are tons of names in Codsworth's database, some of which you'd think are just there in case people try to mess with him,
Mr. Face.
there are still going to be people left disappointed. Jane, for example, isn't included. This is the best we could do.
Miss Douglas. Give me the word, Mum, and I'll initiate my search for calls.
Yeah, you can search for a new job, Codsworth. You suck.
I believe you need a distraction. Yes, a distraction to calm this dire mood.
There you have it. Those are some of our favourite tiny details that we love in video games, but we want to hear from you. What are the small but satisfying details that make you love your favourite games? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this from Outside Xbox, and thank you for watching.